Hi guys, I am Dr. Nicolya and I'm super excited that you're joining me today. I apologize about the delay in videos. I have been out for the count. You'll hear it a little in my voice. But I felt led to come and share a video with you guys today, something that I experienced and it made me just really reflect. So every day, Monday through Friday, I drop my daughters off at school and I take the same route. My oldest daughter has been there now for 7 years in the same building, and my youngest daughter too. And so I have driven this route for 7 years. Nothing's changed. And so there is about a quarter of a mile stretch that is a school zone. So as you know, it is 20 miles an hour. So I drive this way all the time, and there is always police there because there's two schools pretty close together, and they know that people often speed. There's been accidents, things like that, and they kind of direct traffic. So I know this. I drive this route every single day. So today, as I was driving to drop my children off, there was a car behind me. I'm going 20 miles an hour following the speed limit. And there's a car behind me who's in a rush. I mean, honking their horn, holding the horn down, trying to get around me. Finally, they swerve to get around me, speed up, and then before you know it, they get pulled over, right? Part of me felt kind of bad for the person, right? Because I'm like, gosh, they didn't even realize that this is a school zone. They're probably just in a rush on their way to work, or maybe they don't drive this route a lot. But the other part of me was like, I tried to protect you, right? If I'm somewhere and you feel like I'm not going fast enough and you honk at me, I'm going to look at the speed limit and I'm going to speed up to make sure I'm going the right speed. But here, I know I was going the right speed. And more importantly, I know there's police there. And even more importantly, there's tons of children like walking with their parents and riding bikes and things like that. So I'm in my mind, I'm like, is he not paying attention to all of these surroundings and all these things going on? But unfortunately, he had to learn that this was not a place that you could speed through and get away with. So it made me think of this quote that Brian Tracy says. I love Brian Tracy. And he says, you have two ways to learn. You can either learn from your own mistakes or you can learn from the mistakes of others. And I think about how that applies to our lives. Like, there are a lot of times that we have to go through various experiences, and that's how we learn. So like this person, now, if he ever comes this route again, probably will never speed because he'll understand, right? But he also had the opportunity to avoid that mistake by looking at his surroundings and looking at the people around him. And so as I think of how that applies to our daily life, how many times are we making choices that are setting us up for failure? Or how many times are we making choices watching those that have dug the path or walked the path ahead of us, right? So I think about when I went through my healing journey after my divorce. It was miserable, but because I sat in silence, because I was ashamed or embarrassed or a little bit prideful and angry, I refused to talk about it. And so I continued to stay in this cycle that wasn't pushing me closer to healing. It was a cycle of depression and anxiety and overwhelm and anger and bitterness and frustration. I stayed in that cycle because I was so fearful of speaking up about it, right? Had I spoken up about what I was experiencing or the emotions I was dealing with, I could have gotten support to help to get me to my healing journey faster. Same thing with this guy. Had he just followed behind me, the path that was already paved for him, had he followed that, he could have avoided this ticket and clearly slowing down his morning, which he seemed to be in a rush. And so my challenge to you today is like, are you following the path that is paved? Are you looking at people that have already walked this journey before you? And if not, then who do you need to connect with, and how can you make it happen so that you are following the path that is paved before you, so that you are not putting yourself in a position that you're going to get a negative consequence? I can promise you, if you sit in silence and you sit in all those negative emotions and you stir in them and you perseverate on them, then you're going to stay stuck in that nasty cycle. And it's going to be impossible to get out of it. But if you talk to someone who has walked that path before you, someone who has felt those emotions that you felt, someone who has found a strategy for healing, then you can really find the healing that you deserve to get to the other side, is to make that next chapter your best chapter. So the neat thing about it is, like, I'm not here to just tell you that I know what those emotions feel like. I'm here to share that not only do I know what those emotions feel like, I know how to find healing despite those emotions, despite what you're going through, despite how long you've been stuck in the cycle. In the comments below, I am going to post my 7 simple steps to survive your split. And it is a totally free training that I am offering for those that desire to really overcome the stress that comes with divorcing, that comes with separating from your spouse, that comes with creating a new beginning, that comes with finding yourself after you defined yourself as a wife for so long. And so I know how difficult that can be. And so what I did is I looked back at my journey as well as the journey of the many women that I have helped, and created an entire training and workbook that will walk you through not only what you're dealing with, but practical steps that you can implement within moments of completing the training that will help to get you on the journey to survive your split. So do not try to pave this path yourself. I am telling you, it is one of the most difficult things that you could possibly experience. And if you try to go through it yourself, it's going to feel very overwhelming. It's definitely going to feel very hard. But the neat thing is you don't have to. Take it from someone who knows. Getting support was the very thing that gave me the momentum that I needed to find the success after my split. And you deserve that same thing too. I don't want you to stay stuck in that cycle. I don't want you to have those negative consequences that come with, the shame and the guilt and the silencing that you do after. I want you to find healing, because I promise that this next chapter can be your best chapter if you allow it. So check out the link below. You definitely don't want to miss it. Remember, it's totally free. And if you know someone who could benefit from it, share it with them. Sharing is caring, right? So remember, you don't always have to learn from your own mistakes. You can learn from the mistakes of others. And you can follow a path that was already paved before you so that you can find the success and the happiness and the new beginning that you deserve. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. And as always, continue with clarity. Bye.